friends, Jen Cassell here. I am back with a tutorial for my favorite die from the August release over at Scrap Diva, and that is the picnic basket. I adore this 3D picnic basket. It's just so cute. Before we get started, here is her website and all of the info on the back. Make sure to use that hashtag Scrap Diva Designs for some amazing inspiration. And as always, if I've inspired you in any way, please feel free to use coupon code GEN10 to save at the shop. I super appreciate everyone who uses my coupon code and affiliate link. I do get a small kickback and it helps me continue to create free content for you guys. So this one is the first one that I did for the August release video. I did it in a super cute pink fall theme. These are all Scrap Diva flowers. The Hello Fall, I believe, is from last year. We have the pumpkin going on right here. What I found really cool about this is I did this basket weave for my layering pieces, and it really just sets off the pattern paper that I used on it, which is an old Prima collection. So, and these do come up. I made my handle so that it can go up and down. I figured it was easiest to do this when you're opening the sides of your box. Now, this one, I added the flowers right onto the handle. That way, it's not going to obstruct the movement. You can see it a little better on this side. I did use a brad to attach my handle, and I think it's really just a fun feature for this. So the second one that I made is using the lemonade collection. I wanted it to be a little less busy on the side than this one here. I added my floral cluster to the top. I just kind of wanted it to be a little more clean and simple than my first one. And I love it. It's so cute. I originally cut these bows thinking that I was going to put them on the handle itself to cover up the brads, but then I decided I kind of like it on the sides. I think it turned out really cute. So I am going to give you a tutorial for this. I am going to show you how I do the basket or the faux basket and what you're going to have to use for that. So fun. So if you're interested in a tutorial, stay tuned. So let's talk about what you'll need to complete the basket. First, obviously, this is your die set. You do have 3 pages of dies in here. We'll explain those in just a moment. This one here is going to be your base. It has all of the layering pieces. I have attached layering pieces on both sides. I already have my basket weave done over here. I'm going to talk about this in just a moment, but this I did not put down because you want to glue down some flats on this. So one of your base piece, all of your layering pieces on both sides. Now these are going to be the sides of your basket. And once again, I have included my layering pieces on both sides. My basket weave is all put together over here. I'm just going to go through how I do my basket weave for shading and everything. So I have these ones over here so we can do them together. But once again, I have them on both sides. And then you have one of these. And once again, I've done the layering pieces on both sides. I did this, so my basket is done in the same cardstock that I like to use for my gingerbread. This is Desert Sand from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, and I'm obviously using the Lemonade collection from Carta Bella for my layering pieces. And once again, I've done layering pieces on both sides. And then I also have, this is your basket topper. So I have all of my layering pieces on both sides of this, and you're going to want your hole punch too. So I am using the 1/8 of an inch hole punch, so the smaller on this side, and I just went ahead and I punched holes on both sides right here. I did it just slightly inward, and I've also punched a hole here, and I'm going to punch a hole here. But I'm going to show you how to do it. I set it aside so we can go through how I got to this point. All right. Now I also have this basket weave die set or embossing folder. So mine is from Fanciful Chaos. If you don't know Nancy, you are going to want to check out her shop. She is absolutely amazing. She is such a dream. I was on her design team for a little while, but her shop is just amazing. It's where I get all of my foamies, all of my shaker mixes lately. Like she has really, really good shaker mixes for dirt cheap, sequins, all of that kind of stuff. But little hidden gem in her shop are her embossing folders. She has a ton of embossing folders for super, super cheap. So I did all of my basket layering pieces, cut them out of the cardstock, and then I just ran them through this basket weave. And I did multiple at a time. I just filled this up and made sure that they were all in the right direction. All right. And then you're going to get this when you're done. Now, I usually do it for the 3D embossing folders, but lately I've been adding a little bit of water to my embossing folders and you get a really, really nice design. The reason that I want a deeper impression is because I'm actually going to be pressing on this when I go to ink it. So all I do is use one of these mini misters filled with water, and then I do just like this. Just a couple of squirts like this. Put my papers on, run it through, and you're going to get a much deeper impression. Now, I've also cut out, your set comes with a couple different tags, and I'm going to flip this so you can see the tag. It's just this tiny little one like this, and then you get two of them with your layering pieces for the top. There's two different layering pieces. There's one that has that same like notched edge at the bottom, and then this one has a flat edge. So I just kept these pretty simple but cute. And then I have some flowers. These are all Scrap Diva. I did a couple of these cute bows. Now this is from the bookmark set that just came out this month as well. And then I added some lemons to the center. So stinking cute. And I did cut a few more of those lemons because I want them in my floral cluster. For the shading on my basket, I do like distressing for this. I'm using tea dye this time around. Usually for my gingerbread, I use Vintage Photo, which is a much darker. And as you can see, I did start with Vintage Photo on this one, but I quickly switched over to tea dye. I just wanted something a little more subtle and less dark than this. So I like to use a foam applicator for this. Usually I do like to use a brush when I'm doing distress ink, but this time around I'm using a foam applicator because you're going to want to go over it a little bit and you get a little more coverage that way. So I'm starting my applicator on my glass surface. I do like to use glass for this. And then I'm slowly dragging the ink onto the paper, and it's going to catch on your darker part or on the edges and the basket embossed portion. And I'm using a pretty light touch for this. I'm not pressing too hard. I don't want to mess up the embossing, but this time I'm not just stopping at the edge. I'm bringing that over and using a very light touch. I'm hitting all of those edges so the basket weave really stands out. So here's a comparison of the two. Really cute. So once again, let me ink that up. I do like to have a lot of ink on my applicator for this. So using a very light touch, going around those edges, and then finishing up in the center. Use that foam. The reason that I use foam for this is the bristles would go inside and hit your spaces that you don't want to have any ink. So there we go. Perfect. So I am using some liquid glue for this. Now, I did want to say, with these outside pieces, there is a right and a wrong way. These are not symmetrical. So this one has a bit of a curved edge on this side, same thing over here, and then you have a pointed edge on this side. So just pay attention when you do that because they are not interchangeable. I'm going to use liquid glue for this. So I'm just going to add a little to this tab. And then line your side up. Make sure that you really use your bone folder on these. It is going to be a really thick and sturdy basket when everything is said and done. I can go ahead and add my center layering piece and finish up the interior of my box. All right, now that you have all of your layering pieces on, you're going to figure out where you're going to put that hole. So these holes are what's going to hold your handle on there. So I'm just grabbing this, centering it, and then using my pencil to draw where to put the hole on here. It's much, much easier to do this before you put it together. I learned my lesson the first time I did this die set. That was fun, let me tell you. So go ahead and figure out where that is and then go ahead and punch. All right. So you don't want your flaps to obstruct that. So make sure that you're really measuring that out and it sits nicely on there for you. So I am just going to use, I'm going to use a combination of liquid glue and hot glue for this. So adding just a little bit to the fray here and then little hot glue on the side. Fold up and then go ahead and do that for all of your sides. Now I'm going to come in with the top of my basket. You can go ahead and add glue to these tabs at this point. You could do liquid glue for this. And at this point, I can go ahead and add the layering pieces to the interior sides. This is just such a cute and easy, well put together basket. It is a bit of cutting, but your end result is perfection. And if you have a die cutting machine that has the extra large plate like your Switch or your Pro, it's not hard to cut this at all. It makes it pretty easy. I'm sure it could get a little tedious with your smaller machines, but I always think about it like, because sometimes I craft not in my craft room. If I want to hang out with my hubby upstairs, I just have like a manual Big Shot that I bring up. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I have one upstairs too. My husband yells at me because my craft supplies are like taking over the house, but it's really just that Sizzix. I do try to keep everything in my craft room because I'm not a clutter bug, except in my craft room. There's exceptions to every rule, right? So I have my layering pieces on. I have my brads out. I have my handle here. So you can go ahead and pop that on top, leaving all your tabs to the outside. And I am going to add this to the front, and then we have this going into the interior, and close your brad on your sides. Okay, and then the same thing on this side. Great, perfect. Got our working handle. Everything is working quite nicely. Now I can just add. So I'm going to start with my bows and tag here. Tags. I think I'm going to put both of them. So I only ended up using one of my little tags here because I kind of wanted to keep this a little cleaner and a little more simple. So I am going to use my bows right in the center here. My thought was to do a little floral cluster over here and then one over here. I wanted to do the large one over on this side and then a small one over on this side. I'm going to use my bone folders so they kind of hang down off the side a tad. This is going to be the base of my cluster, so I'll move on to this one here. I just want, like I said, I want it to be kind of simple and clean. I'm not going too crazy with this. I know that I want to do the larger the pink flowers over here, and then I wanted to do probably a pink flower over on this side as well. Oh, I have this switched around. That's okay. That's okay. Well, maybe I'll do this on the other side. Actually, this is getting in the way anyway, so I'm going to save this until last. Good thing I did not knot it. All right, so large flower over here. We're going to do the medium on this side. And I was thinking kind of over here. But I also want to tuck in a lemon. You just want to make sure that you're not getting too close to this crease here, because you don't want your flowers or whatever you're putting on there to gum up your opening and closing of the box. And then let's just add a little pop of blue. So I'm adding even more texture by pinching those leaves. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of curve this downward so that it hangs off the side. That I'm about to add right there. There we go. All right. Do I need this? I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, I need it. I think that's cute. All right. And the finishing touch. All right, now I can just go ahead and tie this guy back on. We are done. We have a completed box. Tell me that was so easy, right? So easy. Super cute too. All right, so let's take one last look at this cute little autumn one. So pretty. Love. These are just so much fun to create. I am going to be doing another one. I'm going to do this as a Christmas theme too. I really wanted to try this as Christmas. I have a couple ideas. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. Make sure to head on over to Scrap Diva Designs. Check out the August release. It is so good. There's just so many cute dies in there. And I like how it has like a couple different themes going on. So there truly is something for everybody. And if I've inspired you, feel free to use coupon code JEN10 to save. I will have my affiliate link in the description box along with direct links to all of the dies that I've used in this video. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye for now.